Well, good evening. It is This is Journal 33, uh, T plus 27, 4/29/19, Monday, 4/29/19. Just got finished uh, putting my meds together for tonight, tomorrow morning, and noon. Um, Recognizing that the doctor changed some of the medications, which slips you into chaos almost instantly, trying to make sure you're not going to make a mistake and actually off yourself um, by either not taking enough medication or taking too much, especially when it comes to the anti-rejection drugs, um, which were the changes that were made. Today's been a little bit rocky because I stopped taking prednisone as per doctor's instructions on Saturday. Prednisone is a steroid. The steroid helps boost the numbers up. And when you stop taking it, uh, those numbers drop. And when they drop, and they're precipitously low to begin with, you get kind of shaky. It's an oxygen thing for hemoglobin, especially, and it's a white blood count thing for infection, and there are all kinds of other things involved in that. So I just got finished. I just got finished with that. I just got finished amending the the counts, making sure that I understand what I'm supposed to do and when. And we're kind of dealing with an interesting issue. When I was in the hospital, uh, Lesley was staying here at the hotel, Home Two Suites out in Azusa, uh, off the 210 freeway, and she was coming to the hospital every day, and she fancied herself a Sherpa, more or less, and she was dragging uh, too much stuff. I mean, too many things, too heavy, too far. And if you've ever been to the City of Hope, then you know the campus is really large. It's a lot larger than it may look from the freeway. You know, when you just see the top of the six-story hospital building, and it's really 120 acres uh, for the existing campus as it is right now. And parking's an issue because they're doing construction all over the place. So in the process of that, Leslie's got two discs that have been problematical in the past, and managed to wipe herself out pretty much. And so tomorrow morning we go for the bone marrow biopsy, which will be, I think, my fourth. I don't know. I'm not. I try really hard not to count. They're not especially pleasant, although they're much better under sedation. Make a note of that. God forbid if you ever need one, you want sedation because it'll heal faster and it's not as it won't bruise as much uh, when you don't move, when you're still, and they're doing the biopsy. And after that, she's got an appointment with an orthopedist out here that was recommended by uh, our City of Hope doc. The group was, and hopefully we'll be able to get her some relief. But it's an interesting. I mean, caregiving is an interesting dynamic, especially when you're the recipient and you're not used to being cared for in that respect. When you're used to doing the caring yourself, that you're used to making the sacrifices and you're used to um, uh, taking care of everybody else. I mean, if that it so getting used to having a caregiver in general is I'm not going to say it's uncomfortable. I'm not going to suggest that, uh, but it's unusual. It's not what you're used to, and then all of a sudden having your caregiver need care um, is anxiety laden for a number of reasons. First of all, there's just a limited amount of stuff that I can do um, based upon where I am in my treatment right now. So it's not like um, I can do a lot for either myself or Lesley. I mean, we're trying to do the best that we can naturally. Um, but I have been able to go ahead and help out, at least in a small regard with, making sure that she doesn't hurt herself any worse than she already has, making sure she got her appointment today, making sure that she's going to be there when she needs to be there tomorrow, making sure that she's going to listen. Good luck with that. But it's an interesting position to be in. And there's so many resources here at the City of Hope that are focused almost exclusively on caregivers and the difficulty involved in that role and how hard it is to do that job and to do it well and the stress involved, the anxiety involved in it. You certainly don't want to be responsible for making things any worse for whoever it is that you're taking care of. And I have a very good friend that a very good new friend that I've just met, and I have a dear colleague of mine that I've been friends with for years, who is both of whom have been caregivers for their respective wives, and there's a tremendous. I I noticed recently from one of them the amount of stress and tension involved in that role, and certainly from my colleague, I've watched for years as he's worked diligently to take care of his wife. Um, and I've heard both of them actually talk about post traumatic stress syndrome and how they're impacted by it, especially when it becomes a matter of life and death and decisions that you make, actions that you take, um, are all problematical. I don't know if any of you are caregivers out there. Any of you have been. I know that my wife and I worked hard to take care of my dad while he was primarily in the hospital, pretty much for 10 months solid, and we worked hard to take care of my mother afterwards, which was really difficult because she was an Alzheimer's patient, and uh, all you can do is guess. I mean, she stopped communicating early on, and that made her care that much more difficult. And I still can relate back to what that felt like and how difficult it was, especially when you take into consideration that my father and I were partners and best friends and father and son, but business partners for 38 years, and my mother and I worked together for 40. Um, so it's something that I really understand on a very visceral level. I mean, it's something that I understand on a very personal level. Um, so tomorrow, my job is to make sure that Lesley gets the care that she needs, so that she can give me the care that I need. Um, and hopefully, it doesn't turn into it. Hopefully, it turns into a virtuous cycle, and moving up, and it doesn't turn into a downward spiral that becomes more and more difficult. But that's where we're focused right now. I got to get up at dark 30 in the morning to take care of um, the bone marrow biopsy. I'm the first up in the morning, so that means I have to be at the City of Hope at 7 o'clock, um, and then we got to get Lesley to the doc for her back at 12:45. So I'm going to finish putting all these pills away. I'm staring in front of it. It looks like it looks like a if you've ever played or seen the Japanese game Go Play, that's what it looks like, a Go board, um, with pills everywhere. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and get these put away. I'm going to go ahead and get the pills for tomorrow. I'll put away, log down the modifications that we need to make, and try and get through tomorrow. And then again, I have Wednesday off. I don't have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday. I just have a home care nurse coming to flush the PICC line. Um, think about the important people in your life. I mean, I do all the time, but think about the people for whom you've had the privilege of offering care, and think about the people who have offered you care. Um, it's worth thinking about. I think it's worth a moment of mindfulness or consideration about the important role they play in your life. And with that, I will wish you a good evening. Stay well. Take care. We care about all of you very much. Thank you.